What's up, everybody? I'm here back in the series, give or take. I don't know how long this is, so if this is actually relatively short, it might be, but I don't know. It was free. And I think it was made by the same people who made that Chasing series way back when. Well, not too, probably like a few months ago. It actually does have English. Actually, for some reason,
猫でもないのに
it was on Japanese
そ
when
ん
I
な状
started.
態でね
You were lying around idly, and you're not even a cat.
Nah,
See?
it was on Japanese, but I gotta set English. I also know there was a DLC I can get, which changes the voice actor to a different voice actor. You have to pay for it. It's like $8, I think, which is really weird. Not because like the price isn't really weird. It's just weird that you uh get to pretty much pay for a voice actor. Anyway, I don't know too much of this, but it was on my list for like the longest time. And then suddenly this one day, like at the time of this video, which I don't know when I'm gonna upload, but I think it's Monday. I think, like I said, I think. It came out like on Friday, the 17th, I think it was. Um, so I decided to go ahead and record this now. Like I said, I don't know how long it is. I have zero idea. But we're gonna go and start. And it's got English voice acting. I don't know how much of it does, but the sound was driving him crazy. My George muffled dust were resonating throughout his head with dark pain. The pain wasn't too strong, not unbearable, but that sound. More than anything else, he wanted the sound to stop. Dud. Nevertheless, the knocking sounds just didn't end. He knew well enough, because he himself was the origin. Dud, dud, dud. The nose of his slipper was hitting the wheel of his desk over and over again, like a huge fluffy mole frantically whimming against the window glass. He wanted plenty of things. He wanted to pay the rent on this month, not to displace the landlady again. He wanted to finish the script, at least in draft, because a draft is way better than nothing, something one could work with. And he wanted to sleep. No, not quite yet. The problem, a serious one, was that he didn't really want to sleep. He leaned back in his chair and wiped his shut eyes, pressing his eyeballs until dense and pale lights appeared. Of course, he took the sleeping pills. When a heavy 8 hours sleep gives way to not so heavy 5 hour nap, then a 3 hour eyes shut break, and then goes away entirely, you stop thinking how this will impact your liver. You just want to sleep. You need to sleep, especially if you have already taken an advance payment for the first part of the gig, and the goddamn text won't write itself. However, if the text could in fact write itself somehow, it would probably lose its job. He didn't have any illusions in this regard. As soon as Neutral Iworks gets smart enough, he and dozens of other ghostwriters will witness into more than mist of a new era in literature. He didn't have much of a name or connections, only some skill and a knack to meet the deadlines for the most part. The client was content with this, and he was content with the pay, so everything went well until the pay started failing him. Blam! This time the tick got too strong. His foot jerked and hit the board with very noticeable pain. Seemed like he even heard his toes crack. He muttered a short curse and whirled the chair away from the desk. Although he knew, not that his attention was not fixed on the blink text fire, the tick should go away all by itself. It's funny how there's consciousness is detached from the body. He often thought about it, especially while having insomnia. It's like you're working as a team, but your partner starts pulling something. You seem to have common goals, but when all hell breaks loose, you're suddenly left alone with it, and your partner's more interested in watching the fight than fighting it. In the end, you have no idea what's on his mind. Well, at least there won't be any more knocking. Good. A small window at the far side of the room flashed white for a moment. A storm? Not that he thought about it, the day was hot. The vicious, stagnant air still filled the room. This and the barely audible squeak of an overheated network filter. He became sensitive to such scenes when he couldn't sleep for a long time. Made the entire room seem to vibrate a little, like a cocoon that's about to hatch. Actually, that did sound like a good line. He rolled back to the tape and was about to write that down, but paused over the keyboard. He remembered the individual words in the general idea, but the synthesizer always slipped away. This time, the white light seemed to fill the entire room. Then, a thunder followed, resembling a low gut war of something large and famished. Good lord. He caught the guard way too often for someone who never goes to church. Just a habit that he inherited from his mother. A forcer's pattern of raindrops pounded on his window. There's no way he could work like this. Not now. But maybe it's for the best. Since he was a little boy, he slept well during the storms. Had to seize the moment. He grouped for a pack of sleeping pills. It's nice to have your working toes hand. Popped the pills in his mouth and opened the window to hear the steady patter of the rain. Then he went to the bed and collapsed on top of the bed sheets, his clothes still on. He could tell by the sound of water that had flooded the windowsill and was trickling down the floor. He decided that was a small price to pay. He felt a pleasant chill clot beneath his cheek. The waving haze was gradually filling into the room. Yet, the sleep did not come. He tried to take off his shoes. Just persistence. Take a pillow, cover himself. Throw the pillow away at the other side of the room. Nothing helped. He just lay there with his eyes closed and his closed eyelids were heavy. He knew it was an illusion. All in vain. He's not sleeping. He can't sleep. At first he thought he was imagining. Sometimes the knocking passed, but it never stopped completely. The sound came from below, from the first floor. Someone was banging inconsistently on the door. And with each thud, he could feel the weight building up like a tight knot of pain around his stomach. He is trying to sleep. Is it really that hard to just leave him in alone? At least at nights. At least in the house that pays for it. Or that he pays for specifically, so that nobody will bother him. He opened his eyes. Easy, just as he thought, sprung to his feet and went down the stairs. Something was born inside him. Halfway to the door, he turned to a cupboard and pulled out an old baseball bat. He wasn't likely to actually use it. He asked if he would, so he whispered the door handle. No, he's certainly warned, but he's angry and he wants the night guests to learn it. What the hell? The wind was still pouring, or rather, it was actually getting stronger. As his mother would say, in the floodgates of heaven to open. His mother used to say a lot of things. That was the list of reasons why he had to rent his old by house or anyone could start breaking out the door in the middle of the night. What the hell? He said again, this time aloud. A cat was standing on his porch. Oh, it's actually a catgirl? I actually wasn't expecting that, but I like catgirls a lot, so this is kind of funny that I did this practically without the nickel power. She looked like a purebred British short hair in all respects except for the color. Aside from the smoky gray hair, it seemed as if she was dropped into a vat of white paint, while her lower part was dipped into a black one. Wet fuel clung to her small, rather skinny body dripping with water. The cat could have probably slipped into the house as soon as the door opened, but instead she froze as if waiting for her to say something. I was hoping they won't make a choice like this, but she's a stranger, but she's been knocking for long. It is raining. This might get me killed, but it was a cold outside, much colder than one one might think. He didn't feel angry anymore. Alright, come in. He stepped aside, free in the doorway. The cat didn't move. So you don't want to? Huh? He was about to say, fine then, and close the door, go back to the second floor and lie in a suffocating half sleep until morning. But he finally realized what was wrong. The bat. He threw it away, aiming for the sofa but missed. The bat clattered on the floorboards. The cat followed it into the darkness with round yellow eyes. The sound said final. He signed, I won't hurt you. Come in if you want. The cat raised her eyes at him. For the first time, he actually saw and couldn't help admiring how big yellow they were. The cat's pupils were also large and crumbling rounds, like two full moons in an eclipse. Just as he was about to close the door for the second time, the cat murmured something and fled into the house, butting him with her wet hair as he passed by. He smiled. Strictly speaking, at this very moment, his line had ended. If Lily found out, and he was sure she would, he'll have to look for a new place to live. There are plenty of lonely, bored seniors in the neighborhood, he thought, and they only have two hobbies, I'm sure it'll report. Subject and the recipient aren't that important. Well, it's fine. Maybe he'll leave the suburbs. Maybe he'll move to an apartment since him getting privacy didn't work out anyway. The rain was getting stronger still. He closed the door. The cat explored the house with cautious curiosity, stopping by different objects as trying to understand their purpose. Watching that was amusing, so amusing he even forgot about the stain. When he remembered, it had always spread out, a dark spot of water in the place where the cat clung to him. He pulled the wet cloth away from his body and stared at it blankly for a moment, then almost groaned aloud. The cat was soaked, so she probably got locked out of the house. He decided not to turn on the light. He had enough disappointment for the night. Instead, he went to get a towel. Alright, come here. The cat turned her head to the voiceover place. She was examining the TV, a lifeless black mirror with a plasma panel, and a lacquer frame that he haven't even touched since moving in. In the reflection, the cat herself looked black. She gave him a long, appraising look and then, with sudden eagerness, tried to torture him, definitely avoiding obstacles. He was surprised. Maybe the cat decided he was more interested than the TV, or maybe she acted out of respect for her host real. Anyway, he felt grateful. Finally, someone he could finally actually negotiate with. Suddenly, he thought how nice it would be to crawl under a blanket with a warm bar full. It would surely have helped him to fall asleep. As a child, he had a cat, gray, huge, brash, immediately ugly, and equally beloved. He ought to feel asleep hugging him. The cat's name was Timo, and he faded into a June night many years ago. The cat bumped her wet head against him once more. He thought the cat usually shake off the water themselves. Usually, but perhaps not always. Hey, easy there, you're all wet. The cat looked up at him and with her moon-shaped eyes and murmured something again. Do something about it then. He sprang and got to work. He had to squeeze the front door so the towel soon turned into a wet rag. Should be. That won't do. I'll give you a bath. I didn't really think much on that. I just put that, but I can see it's dirty. I wonder how these choices are going to play out, because I got a bad feeling that me letting in the stranger cat and now bathing her, it's not going to end well for me. I don't know why. Probably won't, but I can easily skip to what I need to. As he carried her to her bedroom, the cat stayed still in his arms, a warm and incredibly light body pressing against his chest. He was expecting the cat to bring out claws at any moment. Maybe as he opens the door, now, or as he turns the light on, maybe this time, but nothing happened. The cat glanced around the new room and looked at him again with a attention almost human-like gaze. Not a single muscle in her small body moved. She was curious, and that's about it. She trusts me. He was about to ask her if she knows already warned what was going to happen next, but that was just too much. Sure, it shouldn't be very difficult. The two of us can manage this. What do you think? He read some catcher get used to the new shrines before bathing. Fear was born out of the unknown, and in that regard, people haven't gone too far from cats. New scenes, familiar objects, and splash of water. These are just shadows on the bed that will fall back if you get a better look at them. He carefully put the cat on the floor. She looked around the room again and returned her questioning eyes to him. It seemed like she got comfortable enough. He turned on the water and the shower felt a gentle touch. The cat was already loading around his feet. She was curious indeed. The shower isn't so bad compared to the rain, is it? The joke came out really awkward. He felt embarrassed and he didn't know why. Good thing he blew it out. I thought I was gonna blow it out. She's just a cat. Maybe it was because of how the water glistened on her skin or how she was looking at him from under half lowered lashes. She was actually watching. He met her gaze and each time felt shame burned through him, but that shame was thick and sweet. He was a little dizzy. His hands slid over her smooth wet skin and each time he would ask himself, was it really necessary? He would feel her eyes on him and his thoughts would melt, whether or not her thighs with the ladder disappearing between her neat toes. And back from shimmered molten, bright pulsating with light or darkness. He felt he was losing his balance and pulled his hand away, but she returned and pressed into the wet, hot skin covered in a soapy veil. She guided it. He could remember how he ended up in the living room again. The cat was snapping peacefully in his arms. He absently ran his hand down the cat's wet back, tracing the bumps of her spine with his fingers. I should get you some food. Let me see what I have. He got up, with just a tad bit difficulty none he could handle. Still, his body felt unusually heavy already. He had to give the cat something to eat. He would lie down afterwards, and then, heck, maybe he'll even fall asleep. Maybe he shouldn't have gotten a cat from a chiller. Maybe he should have gotten a cat from a chiller. A bar full with a pair of mood eyes and very deep voice that he could always negotiate with. That's about it. That's kind of funny. He could have avoided all this suffering if only he had a cat. The kitchen blurred before his eyes. He got to the refrigerator and opened it, squinting from the lights and leaned on the door way harder than he was supposed to. If the landlady was around at the time, she would have told him exactly, so don't lean on the door. After all, this is your house and a refrigerator. Everything should be neat and tidy in case she has to move new tenants again. Perhaps the landlady would have even warned him about the milk. The milk itself is completely harmless, unless of course you are allergic to lactose, but there's a special kind of lactose-free milk, right? Imagine the bottle. Bottle as much like cats can vary greatly, but this particular one was made of glass. If the landlady was here, she would probably have told him not to touch a bottle because he's fallen on the floor and the bottle might break, and then the milk will spill. You have that to feed this cat out the weather. It was who found him, very timely because he was lying on the floor. He had been lying there for some time. He would have been lying still if he hadn't felt the light touch of something hot warm on his cheek. I thought it was kind of exaggerated that he actually was on the ground. It was almost like a dream, almost of course, comparing sleep with fainting just isn't correct, no matter how you look at it. The floor beneath him was surprisingly hard, cold, wet. He felt all those three qualities clearly and was afraid to imagine what would happen if he tried to move. But he had to move, one way or another. At least see what's up, because something hot and rough was still sliding up his cheek, gradually creeping up on his heel. Feel a warm breath and then a cautious bite. He jumped on the spot. A shadow washed it aside and then calmly began to lap milk from the puddle. Okay, now you can see a far more um big picture. But how feet though? Are those like actual like what's it called? Like paws pretty much. Um, they actually like paws and everything, or are those like stockings? What are you doing? The cat looked at him briefly and licked her lips.
No need to be this dramatic. You are lying around idly, and you're not even a cat, see? Besides, you're soaked in milk.
Oh, you're right. Honestly, for a minute, I know there's English voice acting, but honestly, for a minute, I was really thinking that maybe she didn't have good English at all because she definitely seemed like a stray cat more than anything. I know she murmured something, but you never heard her say nothing, so I kind of assumed maybe she had slight broken English and she, you know, just couldn't speak it that well. I let you down and had to get my punishment. I let myself down too. Good lord, now there's cleaning to do too. The next advent, like his mother would have said. I'll go get it back. Stay here and don't want what's left in the kitchen while I'm gone. The cat watched him go with a skeptical look.
Aren't you the one who's been causing all the trouble so far?
When he returned with the bucket, the cat was gone. Okay. How'd you bake? In the kitchen, something exciting is happening. What? I almost thought they was doing like a fucking like a credits and they was gonna be like, oh yeah, I picked that choice and it changes the game a little bit. No, this is just weird. You would need a blade. Did you take the pills? Scratch out the intros? The Egyptians widely used honey for embalming and preserving food. Later, these recipes were adopted by the Greeks. Also add a teaspoon of apricot jam, a walnut, and a little cinnamon. Before baking, pour a teaspoon of butter on top of a microwave for 5 to 7 minutes at full power. Don't listen to him scream. There's blood. Bon appetit. I know he's got some issues, like I know he said he got insomnia, so he can't really sleep. But he definitely has some other issues though. I don't know much about insomnia besides can't sleep, but I don't really know. I'm not gonna say everybody, but people I do know that have it definitely don't have these issues. The next time we saw her was in a few days, or maybe in a week. He always had the best sense of time, especially when he was immersed in his work. Sure can sleep, but at least he was making some progress with the script. It was a narrative game project, as a customer called it, but actually meant do whatever you have to finish it on time. It was forget about the payment. And so he did, although he was a sinful, and that got in the way a lot. The reason of this finish was the cat. He knew how stupid this was, but he couldn't help it. He forgave her for the bite almost immediately, that was the thing. He was bitter about how the cat ran away despite him trying his best to stay careful. She was nowhere to be found in the house, so he immediately thought about an open window on the second floor. Maybe he should have closed it? He threw it on the thought for a while. He even approached the window at some point, but then he decided not to do anything about it. He was hoping, and there was no shame in that. It's not the same as you turn up 10 and start iron grows. The cat would come back. And she said, and she did. He had just sat himself on the sofa with some book. Some was the word, as he could remember the dean from the, or a dean from the cover, even though he had read the titles several times. relate to me does, but it's fine. The cimmers were flowing before his eyes. Of course he didn't, make out would. No wonder Cassette he didn't sleep at all. When you think about it, it was surprising he could write in the state. Either way, he was busy following the book, so he wasn't upset at all. With a fluffy head, but in his hand. But in his hand. Hey, I'm trying to read you.
And you don't seem to be getting anywhere. What does it matter anyways? Better scratch me right here.
He complied. You were absent for so long. Thought you wouldn't come back.
Then why didn't you close the window upstairs?
There was a big difference between expectations and hopes. He had learned that well. Why did you leave? Did I do something wrong? The cat stayed silent. Oh, it doesn't matter that much. I'm happy to have you back. After all, there was no point in this quest from the start. Nobody gains anything by holding on to small grudges and staying blind to what they really feel. He wouldn't have won anything. It's all a dang lottery. The cat rubbed against his arm again. He put the book down and gently placed her on his lap. The lock around his expressive coat touched his skin. Then he got a hunch. Did you go home?
I have no home.
Well, someone must be caring about you if you put that color on.
Sometimes a color is just a color. Don't you know?
This time it was him who stayed silent. The cat buried her head in his stomach. Want me to take it off?
No, it is mine now. Besides, it's easier this way if I catch someone's eye on the streets.
He nodded because if you think about it, that really was a reasonable choice. The cat's fur was thick and smooth, very pleasant to touch. He wanted to bury his face in it, find out what it smelled like. What she smells like. Do you have a name?
Of course. Everything has a name.
She does seem very, cryptic, if that makes sense. And what's yours? The cat looked at him carefully with her bright eyes as if saying, take a guess. But she didn't actually say anything. On the locket there was a small engraving, a crescent moon that was dimly shining, the pale light coming out of the window. Celine? The cat looked up at him and the purpose flickered into two full minutes in the eclipse. Then she rubbed against his arm one last time and stood up, arching her back.
Don't close the window on the second floor.
I won't. She left, but the name stayed with him. And around the house. Celine. She hummed the glass white in the moonlight. So whispered the long shadows of the branches outside the window. I guess we'll focus on the name. What is Celine? For some reason the question bothered him. He really remembered it had something to do with the mythology. Such things never really caught his interest, but fortunately he knew someone he could turn to.